Hello and welcome to No Sevens Dice Club College Football Predictions Week 2 of 2025. And this time I promise I sound a little bit more alive than Week 1 where I was exhausted. I was driving for countless hours and I wanted to get that video out to you. And note to self, as I always say, don't make a video at 2:30 in the morning or whatever time it was and be super tired and make picks also. Never works out good for No Sevens. That's the reason why we went ahead and we went 1-3. The only win that we had was LSU. We're going to go over the notes in week 1 and talk about what happened. Everybody is off the Arch Manning train. Arch Manning is not going to win the Heisman and everything else. You really got to give it to Ohio State's defense. The pre-snap and then the after-snap reads, I mean, they're playing like a NFL defensive team. It's not so much Arch Manning. It was Steve Sarkisian didn't break that game down easy enough for Arch Manning to go with easy reads, to go with easy screens, to go with misdirections, stuff that he knows what to do. If you're that lost in the woods in the first half, there should be some kind of adjustment to go into the second half where it's a lot easier to read and to trust your wide receivers and everything else. I really blame it on Steve Sarkisian more than I do on Arch Manning. But Texas goes down. It was the number 1 team in the land. Ohio State looks like they're just reloaded. They don't look... they look all the part of a championship team. Now, it's just 1 week. We can't make large predictions here, and I know you guys are looking at my notes and seeing what's coming down the list. So, it's just 1 week. We know more about these teams at the end of September. So, let's give Arch Manning some credit here. I'm sure Eli Manning and Peyton Manning are going to sit down with Arch, break down game film, help him understand the read defenses better. He's going to bounce back. He's going to be just fine. If anything, it's Steve Sarkisian should have made the better adjustments in halftime. Alabama. What is going on with Alabama? 2 years removed from Nick Saban, and I told all my Bama friends this. Once when Nick Saban leaves, you guys are in trouble, no matter who the coach is. Because what Nick Saban put as far as the level goes, it's crazy how far that bar is set. Nobody's going to reach that bar unless you get Nick Saban back in that building. And last time I checked on College Game Day, Miss Terry is not having any of that. He is not going back to coaching. Now, you got to convince Miss Terry, his wife, because it's pretty much coaching or to be married, so it's not that drastic, but it's pretty darn close. Alabama's got a lot to work on, and they came out and they were just flat. They were out of assignments. I mean, this was when Nick Saban left his team. They were still a national championship team, and there's still Nick Saban players on this team right now, and I guarantee you, if Nick Saban was the coach, it's a good thing that these players don't have Nick Saban right now, because a lot of players will be kicked off the team right now on how bad they played. So it's not a good thing. Not going to dive too much into it. Like I said, it's just week 1. Florida State came out to play. They came out. They talked the smack and they backed it up. So you got to hand it to Florida State. Really looking forward to seeing that Clemson-Florida State game in November. I think it's November, the second week of November, somewhere around there, November 8th, somewhere. Okay, LSU, the number 1 team in the land? I don't know. I don't think they're going to be the number 1 team with the AP polls coming out tomorrow on Tuesday. Shooting this video on Labor Day. So I think that LSU will probably be number 2 in the polls. They're going to jump from number 9 to number 2. Ohio State, to me, is probably the number 1 team. I know they played at home, and LSU went to Clemson. They say that Clemson should have been number 2 in the AP polls. Who knows? It's too early for polling. I really don't get into it. But I think in my case, I like LSU to be number 2. I knew LSU had a great defense. I knew this was going to be a slugfest. I knew LSU had the advantage. Nobody wanted to give them any credit for this game. I did. I knew what they had as far as that defense and as far as that offense goes. So I'm still riding the Garrett Nussmeier bus, the Nuss bus. So, like I said, I'll be really surprised if they're number 1 tomorrow. I kind of think that they'll be number 2. Sellers, the number 1 quarterback in the land. I tell you what, I can't think of his. I lost his first name. It was in my head. I was getting ready to say it. Anyway, Sellers, the QB for South Carolina, looking phenomenal. He's looking everything like a young Lamar Jackson type player, and he can move, he can dance, he's got flat out speed. I think they said he's 6'4", 240. He's a freak of nature. I mean, he runs a 40 in like a 4.4, 4.5. You know, he was breaking tackles all over the field, doing great things. LSU is going to be playing South Carolina at Death Valley, at the real Death Valley. So, really looking forward to seeing how that game's going to shake out. And that, you don't have to wait too long. I think it's only the 3rd week of September. So I think that'll be next week after this or the week after. So it's not going to be far. So something to really look forward to in that game. That's going to be, I think, a Heisman potential race right there between the 2 quarterbacks, between Garrett Nussmeier and Sellers. Or it could be the number 1 pick in the draft. Who knows? I mean, it could be a lot of things going on there. So really good notes. Like I said, it's only week 1, guys. So let's see how we do. Okay, let's get into some picks. I'm sorry it's a little bit further down. I don't have anything to prop it up right now. I have to bring something to prop it up, but hopefully you guys can see that. It's Iowa at Iowa State. Iowa State looked really good this past Saturday. Played a really good game. Quarterback's looking solid. I didn't really get to listen to a lot of the game because I had it on mute when I was watching the Texas-Ohio State game. But Iowa State looks really good. Can they go undefeated this year? Once again, early in the season, not sure. Iowa State is -3 in this game. Iowa always has a really good defense. This is going to be the battle of the state. So this is always interesting to see this game played out. It's always throw records out, the rivals in. You know, this is a very, very close game. But I'd kind of like Iowa State to squeak out a win here. I think they have a good offense. Their defense is par, but it's not great. But I think that they're going to squeak out the win. I really like Iowa State to win and to cover -3. I think they're going to win by 4 or 5 points. So I'm going to lock it in. All right, Iowa State -3, 11 a.m. kickoff Central Standard Time. See if I can zoom this in, guys. Make it a little bit easier for everybody. All right, next up is Baylor at Southern Methodist. I don't know what is going on with Baylor this year. When I saw this, I thought it was a misprint, but it's actually a true number. Baylor is not that bad. And to go against Southern Methodist, and you're the underdog in this, I had to read this a couple times to make sure this was correct. I'm not going to break this game down. I'm just going to go ahead and take Baylor +3. I think this is a misprint somewhere in Las Vegas that the betting line didn't see, because Baylor's going to win this game. If Baylor loses this game, I might not pick Baylor ever again in the rest of my life. Let's just put it to you like that. So let's go ahead and just take Baylor +3. Who knows? Southern Methodist could go in there and just destroy Baylor. Who knows? I think Baylor's going to come in and win this game. I like it. So +3. Okay, next up is Army at Kansas State. Kansas State is in trouble. They have no defense. Their offense is struggling. Their defense is struggling. Uh, I didn't watch last week's game or this past week. I watched the Ireland game, and yeah, it was kind of horrific. It was a very close game, very sloppy game between both teams. Army lost in the last second to a field goal this past week. Uh, Kansas State is minus 17 and a half. I'm surprised that they're carrying that much of a point spread. Army looks pretty legit as a team. Uh, I'll just put it to you this way: that I really favor Army in this. I'm not going to break it down too much, but Kansas State, if their defense was better, I would take the Kansas State and the points. But Army has a way of going to keep this game close. And if you're going to give me 17 and a half points, and I think Army's going to score at least 14 to 21 points, and Kansas State's probably going to score about 21 to 26 points in this game, I really favor Army to squeak this out to cover the points, not for plus points, to take the points, and Army to win and beat Kansas State. That's what I'm kind of thinking of. So I'm going to take Army plus 17 and a half right here. Okay, it's all locked in. Army plus 17 and a half. One thing this week was really hard to find some good games. Uh, I was talking to one of the people over at the casino, and they're saying that they're starting to use AI now for sports betting to help out with the points. And I believe it. The points are the tightest I've ever seen it be as far as what I'm thinking. And it's like within, to me, it feels like a point or two of margin of error. So it's hard to pick these teams. It's not like what it was before AI was a dominant factor in sports betting. All right, Ole Miss at Kentucky. Kentucky is plus 10. Ole Miss is going into Kentucky. The lane train is rolling. Kentucky's got a pretty good little defense with them, but Kentucky's also got a little good offense. This game can go either way. Do you take Ole Miss minus 10? Do you take Kentucky plus 10? Or do you just take the over under at 52? Because the lane train is going to score some points. And Kentucky's going to at least score 14 points, and they're playing in Kentucky. I'm going to root for both teams to score a bunch of points, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to scream for everybody to start scoring touchdowns like crazy. I'm going to get on the lane train. I'm going to get on the Wildcat bus. We're going to be screaming for touchdowns galore. So I'm taking the over at 52. All right. Locked it in. The over at 52 points. We got to do better than last week. 1-3 is not the way to start a season. So, as you can see in the previous years, 22 was 47 and 29 in a tie. 23 was 43 wins, 28 and 2 ties. And then 2024 was 37 wins and 26 losses. So I have not had a losing month since September of 2021. That was the last time I lost a month. Never had a losing season. So, not going to start now. Going to win this week, and we're going to win some money. So, those are my picks, guys. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys are enjoying college football. And also, the NFL is kicking off this coming weekend. So, hopefully, you guys are big NFL fans, and your favorite teams are going to do well, unless you're Atlanta Falcons. Then I hope you don't do well. Anyway, No Sevens is getting out of here, and I'll catch you on the flip side.